everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Joelle and I resell primarily on Poshmark, but also Whatnot, Depop, and Mercari. And today I have a what sold video. We're mostly going to be going over Poshmark sales, but I also have a few Depop and Mercari sales to go over. And if you're subscribed to my channel and you've watched my past couple videos, you know I've made a couple of small changes to my content. Instead of doing a weekly what sold video, I am now going to be doing a what sold video every 2 weeks. According to the polls I posted, it's definitely my most popular video category that I do. So if you do want to check out my playlist, I have an entire playlist of what sold videos over the past year or so. Before this video, we'll be going over my best sales over the past couple of weeks. I definitely have some Polo brands and trending categories to share with you all. First up, we're going to talk about my shoes that I've been selling on Poshmark. And for this first pair of shoes, this was a full price sale and 100% a style that you should be on the lookout for in the thrift store, no matter what the brand is. For full price at $50, I sold a pair of Y2K Target Mary Jane loafers. The specific brand is Exhilaration, which is a Target house brand. And if you know the brand, you know that it does not retail for a lot. I definitely wouldn't pick it up if I saw it in the thrift store. But for these particular shoes, I knew that they were a really great style and definitely an older pair of shoes. And you guys, these sold for $50. Again, at my full price. For Target, it seems like something that could never possibly happen, but this style is a huge trending style for fall. So like I said, no matter what the brand is, if you see a pair of these types of shoes, any type of loafer or lace-up shoe that especially has a chunky block heel, you should definitely pick it up depending on the price. These shoes were really cheap. I want to say they were $4.99 and they were 25% off. So after Poshmark's fees and cost of goods, I ended up profiting $36.26. Next up was another pretty high price sale, especially for the brand. I sold a pair of men's Kenneth New York loafers for $40. I received these in a ThredUp men's rescue box and they were in like new condition. Although Poshmark told me to list them for around $30 to $35, I decided to take the risk and list them for $50. And like I said, these sold on an offer to Liker, so I sent off a 20% off offer plus discounted shipping, and the Liker accepted the offer almost immediately. If for some reason I forgot to add my profits to just this one listing, so I will list it below. But with the ThredUp men's rescue box, the cost of goods are typically between $3 and $4 per item, so I ended up making a pretty decent profit on these shoes. Next up, we have a pair of Rag & Bone sneakers. I also received these in a ThredUp box. It was the ThredUp shoe rescue box, and they were in pretty great condition except for some creasing on that patent leather, so I did list them for $90. Which seemed pretty high, and the likes definitely racked up on the listing. But the funny thing is I received an extremely low offer on these shoes. I want to say it was $25. I counter offered with probably $65 or $70. And then they ended up offering me $35 on this pair of shoes. I was getting ready to send a counter offer, but then I received a $60 offer from another person. I don't know if you all have ever had that experience where you get a really low offer from someone and then you end up getting a higher one from someone else. This was my first time, but it was a great feeling to know that there was a buyer out there that was willing to pay more than that extremely low offer of $35. So my cost of goods for these shoes from the ThredUp rescue box were $5.34, and I ended up profiting $42.66. Next up was a pair of New Tags boots. I sold a pair of men's Sanuk Puff and Chill booties for $37. I also got these in a ThredUp shoe rescue box, and I think I had them listed for $65, which was a little high. At the time that I listed these, which was probably sometime over the summer, the sold comps were a lot higher, but they have gone down since then. So because these had been sitting for about 5 to 6 months, I figured I would go ahead and take that offer, especially because the particular ThredUp shoe rescue box I got these from was a box that I had made huge profits on. So after fees and cost of goods, I still ended up profiting $24.26 for these boots. All right, as I am looking at the 2 other pairs of shoes I'm going over, they also came from ThredUp shoe rescue boxes. So let this be your sign that if you are looking to order a shoe rescue box, you should 100% do it because clearly they can make you profits. But next up, I have a pair of Elliott Luca Ballet flats. These sold on a $28 offer sent by myself. This was actually a shocking sale for me. I had these listed for about 7 to 8 months and they did rack up the likes. I had also sent out a lot of very drastic offers, but this particular offer that resulted in the sale was just a 20% off offer plus discounted shipping. So I was very satisfied with the sale, and I ended up profiting $15.34. All right, we're gonna go over jeans next, but first I'm gonna go over this last pair of shoes. We have a pair of Lifestride leather loafers that sold on a $25 offer on a $30 listing. This was definitely a shocking sale. Like I said, this came from a ThredUp shoe rescue box. It was actually my first ever box that I ordered, which I ordered back in July of 2021, and they had been listed since then. So these sat for over a year with hardly any attention, and I actually had considered re-photographing them and making the listing look a little better, but I figured I would just hold out for the right buyer because they probably wouldn't be a high profit sale anyways. But I was very happy to receive a reasonable offer for just $5 off, and with that $5.34 cost of goods, I still profited $14.66 for these shoes. All right, now that we've gone over shoes, we're gonna go over jeans. All of these were sold on Poshmark, and I definitely had a lot of high profit sales. And first up, we have a pair of Revice Yin Yang jeans. If you do not know, this is a huge Polo brand and style to sell. I had these listed at $50, and there was a small flaw in the stitching on the back, but it definitely wasn't a huge one, so I still made sure to list them at a competitive price. But these sold within just a few days of listing. I actually thought about putting it in one of my whatnot auctions, but I decided to put it on Poshmark because I knew I could get a good profit. But these sold on a $40 offer sent by myself. I want to say I paid $6.66 for these jeans, which is a little bit higher than what I usually spend, but I still ended up profiting $23.68. Next up was another one of those shocking sales. I sold a pair of New York & Company skinny jeans for $19. I say this is a shocking sale because this is typically a brand that I don't pick up. I had received this in a ThredUp denim rescue box though. My cost of goods was just $1.08 per item. So I figured even if I made a few bucks, it would be worth it to list these jeans. And after sending that 20% off offer, I ended up profiting $12.40 for these jeans, which I definitely consider a success. All right, next up for jeans, I have a huge Polo brand. If you all have any takeaways from this video, I want you to remember this one thing, and it is that this brand is a huge Polo brand that you should never pass up in the thrift store. So on a $50 counter offer, I sold a pair of A. Goldie Riley jeans. Now I did have these listed for $100, which is pretty reasonable for a Goldie. I think my suggested pricing had it anywhere between $80 and like $125, but I wrote it down in my notes right here. There were 3 reasons why I accepted this offer. One was because of the size. These were a size 25, which is a tough size to sell. The second one is because it was a quick sale that sold within just 2 days of listing. And the third reason why I accepted this kind of low offer is because it was probably some hand distressing on these jeans. Right down at the hem, there was distressing, but it was kind of scrunched together and I could not find any similar style online. So I figured someone had done that on their own. They did a great job, and sometimes that can bring the value of the jeans up, but I felt like for these jeans that were in amazing condition that it kind of brought the value down. Now, if you have watched my what sold videos before, you know that I love getting quick sales. That quick money can go a long way, even if that means accepting a lower offer than what you typically would want to accept. But by accepting that $50 offer, I made a very quick $34.01 for these jeans. All right, before we get into my Depop and Mercari sales, I have a couple of honorable mentions from Poshmark that didn't really fit into any specific trending category that I've noticed from my sales, but I still wanted to mention them because they were either a great style or they brought in a pretty decent profit. And first up, I have this Sweaty Betty holistic cutout maxi dress, and this sold on a $48 offer sent from the buyer. Funny story, and this is something that has happened to me a lot in the past when it comes to reselling. I actually had received a $45 offer on this exact listing probably a few months ago, and I had this listed for $75. I definitely could have accepted that offer, but I decided to be stubborn and counter offer. After that, I did not receive a single offer on this dress. Obviously, I could have held out for a bigger sale, but when I did receive that $48 offer, I did not hesitate to accept it because I would actually end up making a decent profit. Also, a huge perk about receiving an offer from someone rather than sending one out is that you don't get that discounted shipping taken out of your earnings. So I definitely appreciated not getting that $1.72 taken out of the shipping discount. But for this dress, I paid $10, which was a little bit higher than what I am used to, but I knew that this was a really great brand and style, and I still ended up profiting $28.40. Next up is a new to me brand that doesn't retail for a lot, but it definitely has cute styles. I sold this Abba Balaya velvet maxi dress. I had to look at my notes because I could not remember the name, but this sold on a $17 counter offer from the buyer. I had this listed for $40, which is definitely high for this brand. Like I said, it doesn't retail for a lot. I think it might retail for only $50, but it was such a cute style that I figured someone would be willing to pay up for it. I was definitely wrong, and I'm completely okay with it because I still ended up making a profit. And honestly, if I see a dress in this particular style when it's long sleeve, very fitted in velvet, I will almost always pick it up no matter what the brand is, because that is something that really hasn't gone out of style for the past few years. And when it comes to dresses with this particular style, I really don't care what the brand is. As long as the cost of goods are low enough, I will almost always pick up a dress in this style. There is just something about people always wanting to wear velvet and cute long sleeve fitted dresses during the fall and winter time. This is the perfect holiday dress, wedding guest dress, whatever you want to wear it for. And I know it's something that I would personally wear myself, so to pay $3.50 for it, I thought it was 100% worth the pickup, no matter what brand it was. So after all those fees and cost of goods, I only profited $10.10, but I definitely do not regret picking this item up because it is such a cute and trending style. Next up, we have a brand that I rarely find, but it always seems to sell quick. I sold this LL Bean blue Sherpa pullover on a $32 offer sent by myself. When it comes to LL Bean, I have been willing to pay up to around $6 to $7 per item, especially when it comes to fall trending items like anything Sherpa, a jacket, or a flannel. But I got lucky with this one because I found it for half off during a Labor Day sale. I only paid $1.99 for it, and I ended up profiting $21.89 for this pullover. All right, we have one more Poshmark sale to go over, and then I will talk about Depop and Mercari. So now we have this Moth Anthropology cardigan that sold on a $24 offer from a buyer. I was very happy with this sale because although I only paid 98 cents for it, it did have a stain on the arm that I did not see when I picked it up at the thrift store. So I knew that that would bring the value down. I did end up listing it for $35, and I was definitely willing to send out some pretty drastic offers because I had only paid 98 cents for it, but I felt like this $24 offer was really reasonable. If you do not know, Moth is a huge Polo brand that is sold primarily at Anthropology. They always seem to make really cute sweaters and cardigans, and for this specific cardigan, I profited $18.22. Now that we've gone over Poshmark sales, we're going to talk about Depop. I only have 4 sales to go over from the last couple of weeks, but even though Depop doesn't bring a high volume amount of sales, I always seem to make a really decent profit per item. So first up was a full price sale, and that is another huge perk of Depop. I always seem to get more full price sales than on any other platform, but for $40, I sold this Victoria's Secret Sport gold metallic jacket. You guys, this is a jacket that I bought about a year and a half ago. It was right when I had started reselling. I paid $10 for it. Do not ask why, I really don't know. I think I was thinking that it probably retails for a lot, but I did not know a lot about checking sold comps or how to do so. So naturally, I wanted to list this jacket pretty high so I could still make a decent profit, but it got absolutely no bites on Poshmark, Mercari, or eBay. I even tried it out on a Whatnot auction for $12 so I could at least make like 50 cents, but again, no bites whatsoever. So to get this full price sale on Depop was a huge success. Now, I forgot to write my profit on here, so for this sale and for the next sale I will go over, I will put it down below, but I do know that I profited at least $24 for this jacket, which again was a huge success. Next up, we have another $40 full price sale on Depop. I sold this vintage Gitano button-down shirt. I had never heard of this brand until I discovered it about a year ago when I found a pair of vintage jeans, and I was definitely happy when I looked up sold comps online. I did end up selling those jeans for pretty low on my Instagram thrift page back when I used to sell clothes on there. But I told myself that for this shirt, I would definitely list it for what it is worth and make a good profit for it. So like I said, I don't have my profits on here, but I do know I paid around $2 to $4 for this shirt. So my cost of goods were pretty low, but overall I was really happy with this sale. Next up was a sale that I actually just made last night. So I was really happy to see it move out of my inventory. I sold this Sanctuary knit long sleeve sweater for $13.50. This was a 50% off offer sent from the buyer. I know a lot of people wouldn't accept that offer. I typically wouldn't accept that low of an offer, but this was a specific piece that I purchased to put on that Instagram thrift page. And if you do want to follow me, it is still Closet by Joelle. I kind of just talk more about reselling in general rather than selling clothes on there. But if I saw this shirt again, even though I bought it at the bins, I'd probably leave it behind or at least try to sell it quick at Plato's Closet. The good thing about Depop though is that their fees are pretty low compared to Poshmark. So I still ended up profiting $9.97 for this top. All right, we have one more Depop sale to go over and then just one small Mercari sale to talk about. But first up, I have this Arrow Polo. And if you have seen some of my recent thrift hauls, you know that I purchased this polo because it kind of had that dad vibe. So even though this specific brand does not have the best resale value, I was still counting on it selling pretty quick. So this shirt ended up selling within about a month or so of listing, and it did get a decent amount of attention on Depop. That was definitely the platform I was counting on it selling on, and I profited $10.77 for this polo. All right, we have one Mercari sale to go over now. I think I've mentioned this in some of my previous videos, but I have been neglecting Mercari and Depop for the past month or so. With law school being full-time, I definitely don't have as much time to dedicate to reselling. I really hate it because I was really getting into the swing of things over the summer and really adapting to a full-time reselling schedule. But right now we are working on balancing out the two so I can do both full-time law and full-time reselling. But I've just been trying to focus on Poshmark, Whatnot, and YouTube, and I'm cross-listing on Mercari and Depop when I can. But for this Mercari sale, I sold this Hive gingham skirt. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I will include the tag. This is a brand that is sold a lot at Nordstrom Rack, and I think it's sold in boutiques too. And I had this skirt listed, I think for $24, maybe $25 on Mercari. And I received an $18 offer, which I thought was really reasonable. And I put on my notes that I think I paid $3 for it. I know I purchased it at Plato's Closet, and I want to say it was listed anywhere between $8 to $10. Purchased it at the 70% off clearance sale, so I know I paid no more than $3. But if I did pay that much, my profit was $12.38. All right, that is all of the sales that I have to go over for you all. Let me know in the comments though, and I'll definitely put up a poll if you want to see every single sale that I'm getting, because right now I'm kind of just going through my sales and highlighting specific trends that I am seeing in my sales. So here I've been selling a lot of jeans and shoes lately, but my last What Sold video, I had been selling a lot of jackets. So I'm kind of just seeing some consumer trends within my sales that I want to share with you all. But there are a lot of other sales that are in there. So if y'all want me to share all of my sales, I am definitely willing to. So again, I will for sure put up a poll for you all and would love to hear your opinions in the comments on what type of What Sold video you would like to see from me. But for now, if you all want to check out my Whatnot, I'm going to throw my little shameless plug in right now. I do have weekly shows. They are typically every Saturday morning. I usually will have brands like Free People, Anthropology, Urban Outfitters, really any type of trending bread and butter brands on that specific day. And I also try to squeeze in another show sometime during the week. But I'm working on hitting 1,000 followers on there so I can have a 1K giveaway show. I'm planning on doing a giveaway for every 3 sales that I make during that 1K show. So I'm really excited to celebrate getting those followers and to celebrate you all for supporting. So if you want to check out my Whatnot, it is linked below, and it's also Closet by Joelle. I'm Closet by Joelle on all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Poshmark, and Whatnot. But now that we are at the end of this video, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you for the next video.